We are 15 years old, and over the past 15 years, we've dedicated about $250,000 in grants. You are one of the recipients of our grant. We started in 2008 as the legacy giving arm of Grace Commons Church, which was First Presbyterian Church back then. We currently have a board of directors of 9 covenant partners, including a trustee and an elder, but we do function independently from the church. Our main goal is to grow long-term endowment for the church. Currently, our assets are about $1.8 million, and they have doubled over the last 4 years. So God has really richly blessed our mission, which is to spread the gospel. This year, we had over 20 grant applicants, and we're going to fund at least half of those. And with you being a recipient, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what our support has meant for you.
So our church plant, ECO, it's an eco church plant, and we're really focused on trying to reach the young adult population in central Denver, recognizing those are folks who are less likely to engage in church life, to engage in the Christian faith. Many of those folks have some sort of religious trauma in their story, or maybe are just in a season of reevaluating their faith, reevaluating their participation in a church. And those are the people that we feel called to reach, to go after. And so with Nova, Nova, it just means new. And in that we're recognizing that Jesus is making all things new, that God is constantly doing a new thing. And we as a church want to be about what God is doing in this generation and in our context. So one grant we received from y'all was really focused on leadership development, and it funded a seminary residency position for a young woman named Michaela. And it was such a joy to have her be part of our church community, to get to walk alongside her, to get to invest in Michaela as she was investing in our church community, primarily around spiritual formation. That's probably the primary sense of her call is spiritual formation in a church context. And then the second grant we received from y'all helped us bring on a temporary pastoral leader last summer when I was on maternity leave. And this was huge for me, for our family, to really help us transition into being a family of 5 in a healthier way, to be able to say, okay, it matters that we're healthy as the pastors, that we're focusing on holistic sense of health, so that we can faithfully serve God here for years to come, that we can have good habits and rhythms, sustainable habits and rhythms as pastors in that community. And so for both of those grants, we just see the ways that God has been at work through y'all's generosity, through y'all's support and encouragement, coming alongside us and what God is calling us to do in Denver.
And hopefully we will continue to grow the foundation through gifts, not only legacy gifts, but individual gifts that people give yearly, monthly, and then also hopefully your story will encourage others to serve on our board.
Yeah, for me and Chuck, so grateful for what God is doing in Central Denver. It's an area where you put these labels on it. It's post-Christian, it's post-modern, and we believe Jesus is present and at work in the lives of people, that Jesus is lovingly pursuing these people, even as they don't really have an interest in conventional church, or maybe have a background where they felt burnt by the church, or have some sort of religious trauma in their story. And so really it is just kind of the dream job for me and Chuck to get to be where we are, doing what we are. And it's been so encouraging to have people come alongside us. And it's through encouragement and support and generosity, all these ways, including the Grace Commons Foundation, where Chuck and I feel like we're not alone. Like God is at work, but it's also hard work, what we're trying to do. And we feel, the resistance or the fatigue or the weariness or whatever it is, and how encouraging it is to know that the body of Christ is around us. And it's practical needs that are being met. It's enabling us to bring other people on our staff. It's enabling us to develop leaders like Michaela, to have Emmanuel come on in this temporary staff position, all these ways. But it's the tangible support, and that has meant, really honestly, has meant more than I can say, to know that we are in this together, and that it doesn't rest on me and Chuck's shoulders. Like, certainly, of course, it's what God is doing, but that tangible reality of the wider body of Christ coming alongside and cheering us on and supporting us, really in a lot of ways is what encourages us on a daily basis to keep going.
Great to hear your story and how the grants you've received from Grace Commons Foundation have impacted your ministry. And we look forward as a foundation to growing our assets and extending the hand of Christ even further in the community through the purposeful generosity of God's people.